Hey, we're live. What is up, Drew? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, How are y'all?
Good.
Doing
Thank
great,
you so much
yeah.
for taking the time to talk to us. We were chatting a little bit before. It sounds like you're in New York. How's the weather up there?
It was like nice until today, so we're getting there. I think we're almost at the end of this winter here. Had a nice little mix of rain and sleet today, though. So I think give it like another 2-3 weeks, and we might see the sun again. So I'm looking forward to it, though.
Right on. Well, thanks again for coming on. What we always like to start out with here is hearing a little bit about your story. How did you get into NFTs? Because it's always interesting to hear how people found crypto, then found this space. So if you could just tell us how you got into NFTs, what was your intro? We'll just start there.
Definitely. So I've been like kind of playing around with crypto and just some of it just buying, staking, whatever, for probably like 3 years. And then over the pandemic, me and some of my boys definitely went pretty heavy with the extra time that we have, some good, some bad,
For sure.
And for like NFTs, it was pretty much like I wasn't really paying attention to it other than like everybody else, kind of like you see something pop up in the news or on Instagram, you're like, that's kind of weird, but cool, And then our artist for Cryptoon Goon, Sean, me and him were working on a clothing line together while he was starting the Cryptoon Goonz as well. And one day we're having a meeting. He's like, oh, this is like this other thing that I'm doing. It's about to launch. Like after that, we can really get things going. I was like, oh, cool. Like I'll buy a couple. And that was like the first one I ever bought. And at that point, I wasn't even like on the team because I don't think they planned on needing one because he kind of thought he was going to sell like maybe 100 and then, just make some stuff for fun, And then once like the Gary V pod came, FaZe Bank, some bigger people, D's like tweeted it out. It started ripping. He hit me up. He's like, yo, you got to come to Miami for Art Basel and meet everybody because I think you're going to be an important part of this team. Met all the other homies. We vibed super good. And then we decided basically to just like scrap the other clothing line because it's, especially what you, even starting out though, NFTs are like a very real business with a ton of stuff you have to do. So, once we started working on this, we're like, well, we might as well just focus and use some of the stuff we had planned for the other brand and just kind of incorporate it into here. So now for the Goons, I do the apparel stuff and a lot of the brand strategy. And me and my homegirl who actually runs Complex Con with like a small team, me and her handle all like the IRL events and stuff that you'll see at like NFT NYC. So that's pretty much like my main core into it. But honestly, like once I started getting into it, it's like super sick. Like I have a ton of other ones like Minted Creepy Club today was super stoked. I love all those dudes. So it's like, it's really cool. And like, I'm super thankful to be able to like, one, kind of cheat the onboarding because I haven't really got rugged or anything because I'm surrounded by people that know what's going on. But yeah, it's been really dope. Yeah, that's true too. Actually,
you keep playing around in Web3. It's gonna happen.
Man, that's wild though. Your first project to be the Goons, and then you haven't gotten rugged. You've been able to like transition from an in real life prospect into move to Web3 as a profession. I mean, to some degree, man, you're living the dream out here.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of people trying to do that. I think a lot of people that watch this, I mean, everyone's trying to figure out their path. It seemed like it was really natural. But just since we've been talking, so you were at Art Basel, you're at South by Southwest. I know you guys are coming up, NFT NYC. Have you gone to any other conferences or shows or anything?
Yeah, so not 100% confirmed, but most likely we'll be at Metaverse Miami. We'll also be going to Art Basel again. And then we got a couple other things planned. It's crazy because it's like one, like the space moves really fast. Like I'm used to running, like I have a skate shop, I have a branding and fulfillment company, and like all of those things, like working with touring artists, it's like tours are planned months in advance, the merch is planned months in advance, like all this stuff. And then once you move into the Web3 space, it's like really go, go, go. Cause it's like, we've done so much stuff in just like a 5-month period that like, when you start like first thinking about it, like, oh, I don't even know if we could do this. And then it's like, well, we have to. So like, we'll figure it out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It's pretty cool though to see what you guys have done. Can you pull up my screen? I was just going to show on here. I don't know if you can show
to share your screen.
Cryptoon Goonz, or you want to pull it up on your end? We can pull it up on mine.
Yeah, what did you want me to pull up?
Just pull up the Cryptoon Goonz page. I just want to show people that are listening what this art is super sick, by the way. So your buddy's the artist. And I was on a Twitter space the other day, and they were talking about tattoos and sound like he had a background there. But yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the art. What's the concept behind this project, and maybe a little bit of what the future vision looks like.
Definitely. So Sean has been tattooing for, I think, even over 10 years, but around there, and been drawing for a long time. And it's got a little bit of like that old school like rubber hose, obviously, but then you see some of the like old school tattoos and like, but then I think a lot of people resonate because it's like got the old school vibe, but then you're mixing in like a lot of current things with like the shoes and some of the shorts and the traits, and obviously like some of the things that I'm not going to say the names, but might look relatively familiar as it's scrolling through, might have gained some inspiration. But yeah, it's I think it's cool because it applies to like a very wide range of people, and that's what's been really cool about like all the in-person events we've been doing, and why we want to do a lot more, because it's like you got people that are very heavy crypto that are down with it, you got other tattoo artists that are showing up that are down with it because he tattoos, you got like streetwear skaters. Like it's really sick to just see like the community that has really been built around it, and how like very diverse it is as far as like what people are into outside of the Goons, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. And not to put you on the spot, but I have some buddies who are big into the Goons. They're all about the gang. And I heard a little alpha. They were telling me, this was a couple weeks back maybe, as they were trying to get me to gang in, that maybe an NBA player or something has reached out to y'all. Maybe someone talking about trying to get a Goon on their shoe.
So this is a good call out because it eventually had to happen. It was a learning lesson for us that make sure people do contracts, because sometimes they might start doing better and then be getting more money, and now it's too late because they have other offers that can't do yours, and like so it's been a learning experience on that side. So they do have them, and they do look very sick, but I'm not sure if they will be posted or worn on the court anymore. So
all things come in time. We'll see, right?
Yep, definitely. But yeah, was definitely a learning lesson on like making sure, because it's like, when stuff first happens, it's like they actually reached out to us about it originally. It's like, oh yeah, sick, here you go, like let's.
Oh.
Got a little rug action.
I think we lost him. Maybe are you able to shoot him a text to see if he can hop back on another stream? It sends.
Well,
while we're doing that, we're trying to get him back on. I don't know if you want to share your screen or mine. I can show a couple of these.
Yeah, I got the Goons pulled up, man. I was thinking maybe while we wait, I've been peeping the Goons for quite some time now.
Oh, get him back.
I was thinking maybe I should pick one of these bad boys up. They got a lot of things coming up on their horizon. It might take my screen a second to refresh, but me see what's going on with the rarity tools over here. Maybe I'll just pick one of these bad boys up off the floor.
I'll shoot him a message. You can use that same link, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Of course, my internet's gonna take a second. Let's see, connect my MetaMask. I think he did just shoot me a message, actually. Let me pull that up.
We're live.
Oh, here we go. My man is back.
Back in there.
Oh, he's back.
Yes,
He's back.
Nice. I was like, that was literally the worst time to get rugged ever. It's like,
You're
oh,
like
he's
this.
out.
That's
All
fun.
right, guys.
Nah, man. Anybody who's been in the space knows what it's like to get rugged. If not with a project, man, you've been on Twitter Spaces before. We all know the situation.
Yes, that is also frequent. And I'm like not technically inclined at all, so that doesn't help either. I was like, what did I just do?
Sure.
No, it's all good.
Man, well, you were gone. We were running through the art over here. Which trait is your favorite? Is there a trait that screams DrewbieTwoShoes?
So definitely cigs, because I smoke a ton. So that's got to be one. I really like the afro. And I also like the boombox. I think the boombox is sick.
Yeah, the boombox is definitely really cool as well. I saw there was a boombox on the floor a couple days ago, and I mean it got swept up with the quickness.
Hey Drew, I got a question for you, man. So it sounded like you had like a natural progression into NFTs, but when you guys were starting this project, what was going on and how did the project actually start? Because it sounds like he's an artist and he, tattoos, but then you got to learn the dev side, and that's not necessarily very straightforward. Did you have buddies that were on the dev side, or how did you put the group together, and then how did the project launch?
Yeah, so we got, honestly, like with all of it, like lucky in the form of being prepared for the opportunities that are presented. So Sean and his boy Joel started the project, just them two. Sean did all the art, learned how to code, learned his first building his website, like pretty much did all of like that part. And then Joel was handling the marketing, the social media, and he was the one that kind of pushed Sean to make an NFT because he was doing like Top Shot and some of those things. And he's like, yo, like, this is new. I really think people would resonate with your art. Like, let's just give it a go. And then Ryan randomly came across them. He kind of became like the product manager. They started minting, and on the first reveal, it didn't work. So they weren't revealing.
Sure.
And then they were running around trying to find like someone that could help. That's how we met Jesse, who worked on like, I always forget. It's either like built Disney Plus or HBO, one of those two streaming services, has like a crazy background in all of that stuff. So he went in, helped them, fixed everything. And then they were like, well, like, do you want to be on the team too? And he was kind of like, yeah, I actually just like quit my job and was like trying to look on, like, kind of like you were saying, like people trying to find ways into the space. And that's what he was playing as well. And so he joined up, and then it was still, because I think, if I remember right, I think it took like a month for Goonz to mint out fully. And so they were doing that, and then me and Sean were working on the brand or whatever, and on the roadmap, it was like at, I think 50% or 25% was when they'd start doing apparel or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it went like 50% to 100% in like a day. And then, which it's funny now because it's like, for us, like that was such a crazy experience. And like, it's just, I think the space was also a little bit different because now it's like stuff, even like the Homies Creepy Club, it's like that public was available for like 0.3 seconds. And I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I got some other ones because that's a no-go, you know?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. My my homies all tried to mint it on public sale, and so there was, I think, 4 or 5 of them that attempted, and 0 went through. None of them were able to get the Creepy Club. Thankfully, yeah, I was on the creep list, so I got my 3 locked and loaded. But yeah, it was available for no time at all. I wanted to hit on something that you said. You know, you guys kind of got started with the apparel right out of the gate, and after looking at your profile. You know, I saw that you were also the co-owner of the Print Hub. And so I guess for those of us who don't know what the Print Hub is, could you tell us a little bit about that? And then really we want to know, like, what was your role in the apparel the whole way through? What does that look like?
Definitely. So the Print Hub, we basically do branding, fulfillment, so like direct to consumer, and then for our touring artists, we do like drop shipping for different shows. We pretty much can make anything. I'm giving you like the worst pitch right now because it's just like it's like way less cool, but it's like basically like we're a full service production facility for anything from like retail clients. We've worked with Adidas for activations. So like just if you need stuff made, we can make it and then we can also ship it. It's like the long and the short of it for that side. And then because we have those facilities, like actually this weekend I've been closing down some of our rooms because we're in the process of moving to a new building. And but because we have the fulfillment already set up, the production already set up, our retail partners already there, that's why we were kind of able to hit it a little bit harder right out the gate. And even like the Urban Outfitters thing, like I think that's really going to be huge for us, one, because of activations, but also like building the brand to a wider audience, because I think for all NFT projects, that's something we're all like thinking about and concerned, because it's like, or not concerned, but trying to do, because it's like onboarding new people. Like we want this to be regular, right? We don't want to be like the kind of weird offshoot where it's like people are confused or think it's dumb. It's like ways to explain and show like why these are real brands and are doing cool things, just like any other brand that you like that also might. I look at it like a Patreon, you know, like these people are, they're investing in the company. You buy the NFT because you have faith in the business. And instead of it being a public traded company and stocks, it's really just buying the NFTs because you can, as the value goes, if you want to sell, you can sell it, or you hold it and get the dividends, which are whatever utilities are offering, you know?
Hey, speaking of, actually, we were just talking about that before. So I don't know, is your staking mechanism, is it live or is it coming up? And can you talk about that?
So it's coming up. It is basically we just dropped like our community fund. Coming up next is our portal, which is basically like the next rendition of the Goons. And then after that, that's when we'll be launching the staking. And I'm really excited for that, just because I think it gives us a little bit more realm to play around with like some of the products and stuff, where we can just send people like really cool stuff that they might not want to purchase because maybe it's really expensive or it's a little bit weirder. And now it's like we can make like a giant wall canvas, or we can raffle off like Sean's, you know, physical art that he actually drew by hand, and it is like a painting that would be in a gallery and things like that. So we have a lot of fun plans as far as what we're going to offer in like the staking section and what you can get with those coins that we haven't officially figured out what the name is going to be yet.
Yeah, your roadmap looks great, and I'm just going to read, you know, the staking piece, because there's a ton of cool things like you mentioned. It says you'll be able to claim physicals in art, custom shoes, paintings, animating your goons, flying you out to New York City and having Sean tattoo you. I mean, what other project is going to do that, right? Just for being a holder. And And it says, yeah, all the way down to insane cut and sew clothing from their design team. And so it's just like, let's continue to bridge the gap between the digital and physical worlds. And that's the goal. I feel like if you can figure that out, that's one of the largest opportunities as a project, right? Is how do we bridge that gap? And yeah, this is only the start of what's possible. So that was really great to read. Definitely.
Yeah,
makes me
I got another question too. So you were just talking about the space last year, and there might be some people that are new just getting in now that don't understand. I mean, it was less than a year ago, and it feels like it was 10 years ago, the way that we talk about it. Yeah. But so I want to get your perspective on what's changed and what's different between, because if 5 months ago, so you guys launched in November, December-ish?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it launched early November and minted out in December. So that was like the month of it. And like, for instance, one thing, ETH was like 45 something back then, which also seems like forever ago, and ETH was like high, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm definitely, so not financial advice, whatever all the things are. I don't know anything about, I just buy the ones I think that are cool. But what it seems to me is like, while doing my research and looking at other projects and stuff, it's just either I was paying less attention back then, or it's just like hella oversaturated right now. And there is just so much stuff. Like when there's like MF or Ape Goons or whatever derivatives that people are for some reason buying, I feel like it makes it a little bit harder for some of the like more legit projects to like get money, because people are like, wait, I can still mint this free mint and act like one of my boys. He made like, he's like, yo, I've been doing these free mints. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I made like 2 ETH last week just getting free mints and flipping them. I was like, that's absurd but sick, you know?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
they can buy something like else, you know? But obviously there's probably a lot of people that also do that get like if I tried to do that, for sure would have bought it at the top, and then like right when people were not buying them anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What it really reminds me of is like those infomercials that you used to see back in the day where it's like, you know, take this pill and you're going to lose 40 pounds in 30 days, or rub this, you know, cream on your face and it'll instantly take 20 years off your life. And I was actually reading a book that Hofstra recommended to me called The Compound Effect. And literally today, man, it's like it spoke to exactly what's happening in the space. You know, everybody's saying these, you know, new projects, they're giving all these promises. It kind of, for lack of a better phrase, they're like get rich quick schemes, you know, and they're promising that to the consumer buy-in, and we're going to do this, that, and the other. And what this guy Darren Hardy talks about in the book is he said like the truth and fundamentals are old, right? There's no new truth. Like you should be weary if somebody is trying to sell you manufactured antiques, right? You can't make an antique. And so that's exactly like what's happening here. People are trying to come up with all these get rich quick schemes and this sort of thing. And it's like the fundamentals are still the same. And that's, again, what's going to differentiate these projects, the good from the bad in the long run.
Yeah. So, so your official title is brand ambassador.
Brand strategy.
Brand strategy. Yeah. So like, what does a day look like for you? What are you doing? What are you involved in the business, and how does that work?
So thankfully, I've kind of set myself up that I have a very long work day every day. So usually I get up at like a little bit before 5, do my quick, you know, shower, breakfast, teeth brush, and I'll do like the first 3 hour of my day before like most of my team comes in for the production stuff. Is usually we're working on like a lot of different partnerships. Like I'm talking to the Urban Outfitters team, working on that stuff. A couple ones that I can't say. So I'll usually like start off with like those emails, catch up, setting graphic designs, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll be doing like mainly print hub stuff, kind of from like 9 to 6, minus like whatever phone calls or Zooms. Cause like none of us are local, besides me and Sean right now. So like me and him can meet up in person, which is good because me and him are like mainly the ones that do like the apparel stuff. But it's like for, you know, the activations, me and Joel and Jesse jump on to talk about what's the content strategy to release the information, and then I'll jump on a Zoom with somebody else about that. So kind of just calls or whatever. And then usually from like 6 to 9, I'll reply to whatever emails I sent that got hit back. And then really right now, the two things that I'm focusing on the hardest is, besides the NFT NYC events, is we're doing this thing called the, basically it's like Goonz Artist Series. And what we're doing is we're having artist homies that aren't really, well, the first one is actually also doing NFTs because he's a tattoo artist, saw that Sean was doing it. They were boys. Sean helped him launch his thing. So he wasn't doing it before like the Goons either, kind of. And then the other two that we're working on, I'm really stoked on. And they're actually not in the NFT space at all. They're very much more in like the streetwear, skate scene, core shops, that kind of stuff, because we really do want to do a strong mix, because we also want to like onboard NFT people into that type of stuff and show them, you know, like, I think I can say somewhat about this. I don't think I'm leaking too much yet. But like, for instance, there's a skate shop in New York City. We're linking up with them, and undisclosed spot, we're literally going to build a mini park for them to like shred with Goon stuff in the background, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it helps us too, because it's like, I like legitimately just have been doing this for so long. So it's like, we already have a lot of connects and plugs and homies that like want to support us, and then we can support them too by, you know, giving them exposure. So it's super fun because I just like doing like dope shit with my friends, you know?
Yeah, actually that's interesting that you bring that up, right? Because if you look at it like this, you guys have been in business for 5 months, right? And in the business world, that's nothing, right? But you guys have done a ton of stuff. And I think what people may not understand that are starting NFT projects, it's a legitimate business. And if you don't have experience in that, it's going to be much harder to figure this out. So I think leveraging those relationships and the things that you guys have been working on for years, that's probably why it seems like you're executing at the level that you're doing it. And other projects may not. And I was just talking about this before. There's a project I'm in, and they're talking about these partnerships, but really they've just done a giveaway, and they've done another project they asked people to buy. And within 5 months, it sounds like you guys have done a ton of stuff. And on the Discord, I was reading all the stuff that you guys have coming up. But would you think that you guys have a leg up because of your past history? And I know it sounds like you're doing like 4 or 5 different things prior to this, but at least from what I'm seeing, it seems like you guys have been able to execute because you're already doing it. So it's just naturally a fit.
Exactly, because even like with the event stuff, because like the Megan, who is working with me on a lot of the event stuff, it's like, that's why we're homies, because we're both from here. But it's I had a skate shop. She used to run Agenda, which is like, or work for Agenda, running their events, and it's like, that was the biggest trade show for streetwear and skate culture. So it's like, we're already like out here doing all of that stuff. I have like a festival I throw in the woods with my friends that we built a concrete bowl in. And so it's like, all of this stuff just really comes natural for us. And I do think it is an advantage for our team, because we've already done so many things. And like, for a lot of people, they might be really good at the Web3 stuff, but not have near as much experience on this side, where it's like, for us, it's almost the opposite. But like, thank God we had Jesse, because he's a fucking genius. But besides him, like, most of, like, I'll be like, hey, for this activation, can we like scan a thing and do something and whatever, and he'll be like, yeah, I can probably figure it out. And I'm like, that's dope, because I don't know what I'm talking about at all, but I just want this to work somehow. And he's like, yeah, we'll make it happen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. You know, something that we like to say on the show, and I always like to harp on, is in terms of evaluating a project, I love to look at the founders, the people that they brought onto their team, and see what they have done outside of the space. And I don't just mean like, you know, I work with such and such, and I've signed on with these big companies, but I like to see what projects they've completed, you know, because I think bringing something to fruition and having a great idea is one thing, but to carry it out and execute it and to bring it back the next year and to form a habit with your consumers, I think that's something totally different. And so it's great. It sounds like, you know, you're literally proving my point here. That's exactly what the Goons have. I was honestly, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I was just shocked to hear your schedule. I mean, it's so professional. You know, like you would essentially sound like a stockbroker, right? I'm waking up at 5 a.m., doing X, Y, Z, and your day ends at 9 p.m. I mean, if I'm a goon, I'm excited to hear that I've got people on my team that are dedicating this amount of time to this. Like, it's more than just like the voice on a Twitter space. This is your livelihood, right?
Yeah.
You know, their success is your success. And so it's really great to hear that. I'm excited if I'm a goon right now, for sure.
Hey,
Yeah, and that's like, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. When I like first signed up, I was like, yeah, I'll do the clothes stuff, and like I'm really good at that, and that'll be super easy. And like as stuff kept growing and everything, like when we met up at South by, we kind of like restructured some stuff and made, because it was like, they're like, well, you do really know how to run a business, and we kind of haven't yet, so like, can you put more time in and whatever. And like, because I have so much faith in what we're building, it's like, and thankfully I also have a really good team at the other businesses I've already been doing, you know. Right. Like I was down to kind of take a little bit of a step back from the stuff that I have that is running relatively smooth, and kind of do more of a dive in and like get into like the nuts and bolts of like what we really need to do. And it's been like fun for me, because it's like most of the stuff I've been doing is something I've been doing for a long time, and this is like all new, so it's super fun to like learn again and like be doing research. And because it's like doing pop-ups, I've done a ton of them for myself with other brands. That's like kind of, you know, easy for me. What's new is now it's like, all right, how am I gonna get tech involved, and how am I gonna do this and work with Jesse on the dev stuff? So it's been dope to like have all these new things thrown on top of like what, at least at the core, I know I can like easily successfully do. And I think that's what helps all of our stuff kind of move a little bit faster.
Absolutely. So, okay, what other projects are you into? So your top 3 projects are what?
It's a tough one, I know.
I feel like I almost gotta go to 5, just because a
Yeah,
lot
go
of
to 5,
it is
go to
like
5.
So in no particular order except for Creepy Club number 1. Those are my fucking boys. So definitely number 1. Smiles team is super dope.
Yeah.
Alien Friends are dope. And it's cool because it's like with them, I feel like we kind of all started at like the same period, you know?
Yeah.
I really like Dumpster Dorks. Those are super sick. And then it's not out yet, but Football Critters is just pretty much started. The homie Jeff is did you see like the
You see us all writing this down? We're over here like, okay.
Yeah. Did you see the mural? It was like a bunch of murals in LA that like Cool Cats,
Yacht Club. Where they were
I don't know, different one. Like Cool Cats, Mina from what, I'm so bad at names, by the way, just to let everybody know. Wonder Pals, that's what it is, I think. Okay. Yeah. But they did a bunch of like murals together. There were like 200 people just like hanging out. Like he's a super chill dude and really like about the community, like honestly, and like also a super talented artist. We met him out at South by, and like me and him have just been like chopping it up since. So I'm really stoked for what he's doing, and we're actually going to be doing some cool stuff together down the road that I'm really hyped on too. But yeah, Football Critters, check it out on Twitter, because right now it's like nobody knows about it. And, you know, if it goes to zero, I'm there with you because I'm going to buy a bunch. But it's dope.
Yeah, that's a bet. I actually wanted to hit on something you said. I live in Texas, not in Austin, but my boys who are also in the Goon Gang, you know, they live in Texas as well. They were stoked for South by Southwest. And something that I promised them I would ask, you brought it up naturally, is about Smiles. Hofstra, he was in Smiles at one point, but they want to know, is there anything going on there? You know, can we expect anything from the Goon Gang and Smiles in the future? Or what exactly was that dynamic like at South by Southwest?
Yeah, I assume so. It was sick. Like, I fuck with all those dudes. Like, it was super, like, the funniest thing about Web3 is, like, the fact that it's, like, we have been talking to each other for, like, 2-3 months before we ever met in person. Right. So, like, that part alone was dope because we're all like, oh, word, like, we're not behind a screen now, like, whatever. But yeah, it was super fun to, like, be there, hanging out in person. I know, like, everybody that came through was, like, super hyped on all the gear that we made. Like, my favorite one was, like, the mix of the Smiles Goon traits on the tote bag that you could, like, put over your head so it looked like the trait that they have. But yeah, no, I assume we'll do something again down the road for sure. And I definitely got a couple of those. But yeah, it's just like, it's super fun to be able, like, I feel like with the IRL stuff, even like the people coming to the events, it's also kind of new for them. Cause me and Megan always joke about, like, it's sick because, like, when we do stuff in, like, the streetwear space, it's like, most of these motherfuckers have been going to, like, events, like, in the streetwear space for, like, the last, like, forever. So it's, like, really hard to do something that people are going to be like, whoa, this is crazy, you know? And then for us, like, South by was super dope, but also, like, kind of last minute because we didn't know we were doing it. And everyone there was, like, really stoked on the art and, like, the live printing. And, like, we had the skateboards and then we made the Smiles vest and, like, all that stuff. Like, basically, that's what the print hub's for. We make everything for all of the things. Everyone was super hyped, and we were like, okay, this is awesome because, like, this was super fun, but what we are about to do in a couple months, because we have more time to plan, is, like, 10x that. So people are going to be like, oh, okay, this is, like, crazy now.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to pull it up in a second, but before the show started, you know, Hofstra and I were kind of just strategizing, talking back and forth. And, you know, one of the big topics is always like, what should we title the episode? And we were brainstorming, and I brought up the fact that, you know, you guys are killing the fashion game. I was in your the Goonz Lounge the other night. I think it was Friday. And I heard you talking about restocking the store. And like I said, I'm going to pull the store up right now. But, I mean, man, in many regards, especially when you consider what you've already launched, your project, your partnership with Urban Outfitters. In many regards, man, you guys are kind of leading the fashion revolution in the NFT space. And so, like, how involved are you with that process? I know you said, you know, the print hub, you guys are printing everything. Are you helping design? You know,
9.9%, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. The only part that I don't do, and that's what Sean is great for, is he gives me the stuff and I look at it and then I'm like, all right, let's put this here. Let's move some stuff around. And then we go back and forth. And then after that, it's just like, all right, let me send this off to these people. But that's the other thing that's crazy. Like, when we're talking about, like, the difference between, like, Web3 and, you know, whatever you want to call regular ass businesses, you know, we started the urban conversation in December, and we weren't allowed to say anything until South by Southwest. So it's like, that's how long the non-Web3 space takes to, like, get stuff popping, because there's so much more involved, though. It's like, they have warehouses that ship, they have to get it to the stores. Like, I'm doing QR codes and getting labels for us and this. So it's like, there's just so much more when, you know, like, and not saying like the Web3 stuff is equally as hard because I literally couldn't do any of it at all. But it's just like a little bit different and more time consuming because it's like you got to do, I'm working with first the buyers. That takes a while. Then after that, we're working with the marketing team. That takes a while. Then we're creating the content and doing that. Then after that, I'm making the stuff, and now I'm working with the warehouse and the facilities, and then drop shipping and customs. And like once it's all said and done, you're like, that was a lot of stuff for just one small piece of our apparel, you know, overall umbrella that we have in the pipeline.
Yeah. So you have NFT NYC coming up, and it looks like on the Twitter page right on the top, you're doing some sort of collaboration or pop-up there. Are you able to talk about that yet? Or are you able to talk about what you guys have planned for NFT NYC?
Some of it, yes. So definitely, basically 19th to the 21st, we're having events every day. Different scales depending on what they are. Sunday is going to be like kind of like the big one with basically other homie projects. That'll be super fun, kind of like a welcome party, try to get a bunch of communities together and just like chill. And that will have a bunch of cool other stuff like making on-site apparel, and that's probably where I'm going to stop before I get yelled at.
Give us all the
and then Monday will be the event in Urban Outfitters. So basically,
in New York.
Yeah, we're doing it in the Herald Square store. That's like the closest one to basically where like the actual conference is. So we'll be doing in-store there with some cool stuff going on, as well as like an online release, because that was like really important for us, especially for like this first one and as we grow the brand, because basically anything that's in Urban will only be released through Urban. Like all those designs are like Urban exclusives. And one, obviously, like we are now kind of at a point, especially for people that aren't in the space, where you might be like a little bit priced out. So one cool thing that we're doing for in-store, and this is actually new alpha, I think it's the first time we're saying it publicly. We're gonna be doing a couple different like raffles and stuff, and like Urban's really hyped on that too, because like as long as, you know, nothing tanks again before NFT NYC, I'm assuming like they're hyped because it's like now we're giving one of their customers like their first NFT that's worth whatever they're at by now, as long as, you know, ETH doesn't cut by 50% again.
Yeah.
And some other stuff like that, because that's really what we've been focused on, is like driving the brand awareness, because that obviously brings more value to our holders. And then secondarily, it's like, how do we onboard more people into the space? Because obviously, like, you're very attached to like your first whatever and kind of anything. And like even Dumbledore
right here.
Yeah.
I wrapped my computer with my first minted NFT project, so 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to be, I know you said that what does come from Urban Outfitters will be Urban Outfitters exclusive, but are you guys still going to be dropping your own line for the holders, like in tandem with that? Or is it all going to be through Urban Outfitters from there on?
No, we'll definitely be doing our own stuff too. Especially because like Urban is pretty quarterly. So basically there'll be like, you know, 1 month where we like really are probably focusing on like their release. Like for instance, in June, we basically have it scheduled out where it's like pretty much everything will be sold out on our store. We'll really focus on pushing stuff with them. Then once that starts selling through, we have our next drops kind of in the queue, especially because they're already super hyped, but I think they're going to be surprised at how quickly it goes, because most trial orders, because we're new, that, you know, say that we don't get that much special treat, it's like trial order just like everybody else, but most people don't get an activation off the rip, so that's sick. And with the numbers that they have, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised with what we do as opposed to like what normally happens when brands first start out, as long as it goes anything close to what we've already done. And I think the Goons will definitely be going pretty crazy once they can get it in urban for sure.
Oh,
and then hopefully we'll also be getting some new people, you know, because like that's the one thing. I think we made a lot more of this restock than normal, just because we did want to make the non holders exclusive items available to the public, because now there are a lot of like followers and people in the Discord and stuff that like don't have one or are flipping their way up or whatever. So it's like they're still a part of the fucking gang, you know? So we want to be able to make sure they can get some shit too.
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, the gear is clean. I can absolutely see it turning some heads, you know, even from people who have no idea what the NFT space is. Thankfully, I did know what the NFT space was. And like I said, I have some boys who are all about the Goons. But I don't know if you saw me rocking the pin here. I'm not.
Oh, there it is. Yes, sir.
Hey, why don't you stand up? He's not just rocking the pin. Stand up here.
I got the shorts rolling.
He's not even in the project yet.
And it's like, yeah, man, you're right. I think people are.
That's exactly what I want to see, though. Like that makes me fucking stoked. Yeah, hell yeah.
I know. Now I was trying to get on there. I'm like, damn it, I gotta buy one of these things because I can't buy the merch unless I got a wall with a goon in it. I'll just go. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we got coming up here. Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy to hear about, you know, all the early success that you guys have had. And I think just from our initial, I mean, we haven't met before, but I'm going to be in NFT NYC this year. I was there last year, so I'm definitely going to come check out what you guys got going on. And I imagine you guys are going to have a bunch of your crew there. So I'd love to meet some of those guys too, man. But
oh yeah, no, definitely. That's like 100% we will be squatted up.
Hell yeah. So what are you looking at, Sticky? You bringing something up?
Yeah, I said I wasn't in the Goons yet, but I've had my eye on them for quite some time. So I figured, you know what? We had a great conversation today, Drew. There's no time like the present, right? Maybe I will go ahead and hop on and buy this bad boy while we are live. As soon as my,
oh, there we go.
Computer refreshes. Of course, yeah. I think I got to close out some of my tabs here because we're, got the whole live stream going. Yes, sir. Let me get this going. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I like I said, I've had my eye on the Goons for quite some time. I really
see what you got here.
I think some of my favorite traits are the cowboy hat. There was one on the floor for quite some time, and I let it slip between my fingers. But I think today
I was gonna go with that dice head. That dice head's dope.
Yeah, it's just up for bid, unfortunately. Oh. So I think for today, geez, this cowboy hat's looking at me down here.
He's made a couple rips, dude. He's made a couple good trades this week. He's got a little fun money to mess with.
Yeah. My boys like this goon down here. I'm pretty sure this little guy. They were telling me about him. I think honestly, I'm gonna rock with King Goon over here. I think this one is going to be me. Mr.
Oh, there you go. Got the crown action. Nice pair of shoes on them too.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm gonna have to get the shoes to match, right? Let me go ahead and
match
and all this sort of stuff.
No, show us your seed phrase, bro. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. That way, yeah. I need to do that so something happens in the future, I can go to someone to recover it. So, I definitely like the crown. So while this is all going through, can you tell us, like, what about the roadmap you are most excited for? I know we spent a lot of time talking about the merch, but, I had a bunch of other stuff written down that I heard on the Goons Lounge, from the Goon Stash that you guys just launched, your treasury, to the Goon Gathering opportunities. So just, like, what upcoming are you the most excited for?
100% the Goon Gatherings by far, because, because we are working so much, it's like we can't be at everything or can't go. Like, you know, there's a ton of people that like, we went to this thing called Supermint in LA, which was awesome. And like, we had like 65 holders came through, which was nuts because we thought there'd be like 20 people. You know what I mean? You have like, what? And so to be able to like fund our holders to be able to do that stuff without us, and it's like they don't even have to, we're not expecting them to get live printers or whatever, but it's like, for instance, NFT LA will obviously be there next year, but like this year we weren't there, and it would be dope that if someone's like, hey guys, like let's rent out a section of a bar for, you know, 2 hours, open bar, let's come squat up and go to like some other parties from other stuff that we hold or whatever. And or give me, you know, money for, I'm a graffiti artist, I'm gonna paint a mural and people can like hang out and watch and chill. We'll buy pizza and beer. Like it can literally be like as simple as that. And it's just like, that's the stuff that I love to see, and it builds like real, like that's a real core value for us. It's, and like it's funny because I always talk to like the team when we're talking about stuff, and it's like apparel brands take years to have people fuck with us as hard as like, oh, there it is.
There he is. Yeah,
no,
I remember. Hey, you gotta do some what's the initiation?
Yeah, I don't have to get jumped in. Right?
You gotta get a tattoo.
No, that's what I heard.
Unfortunately, surprise in New York City. That's actually what we're doing for everyone we haven't met yet. And everybody that we met in Austin and LA, we just made them swear to secrecy that they can't tell anyone, so they still come. But yeah, gotta prove your chops, you know?
Nice.
That's my next
so
tattoo.
Goon Gang,
right
stoked to be a part of it. Absolutely. What's the Goon Gang, right? That's the official verbiage we're using. Now I gotta get the mask. The red mask is the key, right?
Definitely. I think the red mask is the biggest, because it's like, even me, I'm like, one day it's goons, one day it's Goon Gang, one day I'm just like gang, like.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But the red mask is definitely, that's the new calling card for sure.
Yeah, we're coming up on an hour, so we're kind of reaching the end here, man. But we really appreciate you coming on. It's been awesome talking to you. What are your last words? Anything else you want to share with people before we shut this down?
Definitely, probably just like, even if you can't make it, I would say NFT NYC will be like the first time where we can really show everybody to the full extent of what our brand is about and what it will become. So definitely keep an eye out once those dates start hitting, and even before that. And hopefully, if anybody's not convinced that we're cool, that will push them over the edge, you know? And I definitely appreciate y'all taking the time to chop it up. And for sure, like, let's chop it up a little before NYC. That's way we could actually like for real hang like and grab some food and shit. Because I appreciate y'all bringing me up here.
Bro,
Absolutely,
yeah, we
man.
really appreciate you coming on. Honestly, it was a great show. I said it probably 10 times on the show, but I've had my eyes on the Goon Gang for quite some time. Thrilled to be a part of it. And for anybody watching, you know, we scratched the surface of what's to come. We still have all sorts of notes that I heard about, you know, Gooniversity. You guys just rewarded your top holders with a sketch. You guys have an animated show coming up, a pilot, you know, working with somebody who worked on Rick and Morty. So the Goon Gang is moving right now. You know, hop on now, or you're going to, you know, if you can't afford them now, you're going to be buying them at 4, right? And that,
yeah, exactly. That is, you know, and that's like the one thing too that it's just so funny, like being new to this space, like what just the way it moves, because it's like sometimes it could be like 2 days later and you're like, whoa, that's like, I was looking at it yesterday, that's double now, bummer. Like I really like that one.
Yeah, sure. You can't get it.
Absolutely. So all right, well, oh yeah, before we go, there's a couple of minutes left. We're giving away this gutter mug Gutter Mud Mug. It's on the Web3 DJ page, so it's pinned at the top. We're gonna choose the winner after the show, so make sure you go ahead and retweet that. You got a couple of minutes left. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, man, it was great to meet you, Drew. Really appreciate you coming on. If there's anything that we can do for you, definitely let us know. Until then, any last thoughts?
No, I think that covers it without me talking for like another hour and a half. Which
No, we appreciate it, man. I look forward to meeting you guys too. NFT NYC is gonna be dope. So thanks again, and yeah, we'll catch you later.
All right, peace, y'all. Have a good rest of your evening.
Peace. And then make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, we're coming for you. This stuff ain't free. I mean, just kidding. It is free, but yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.